Good morning, Ali. Good morning, Tracy. Can you both see and hear us all okay?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
All right, morning.
Ali, are you there? There we are. Could I please have a proposer and seconder for chairman?
I propose Councillor Andrew Kilbride.
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Do we have any declarations of interest, please?
Not for me, no.
Nothing for me either.
And can I just do some quick introductions, if I may? So I'm Councillor Andy Kilbride. I'm chairing the meeting this morning. And just over to you guys to introduce yourselves, please.
Councillor Mike Warren, subcommittee member this morning.
Terry Guilford, member for Daventry West.
James Chadwick, legal advisor to the subcommittee.
Yeah.
I'm Irnan Kali. I'm the agent from the applicant.
Thank you.
From AMA UK Consultancy Limited.
And yourself, Tracy?
Also, I'm Tracy Farrell, Environmental Protection Officer for West Northants Council.
Fantastic. And just you, Andrea?
Andrea Hill, Licensing Enforcement Officer for West Northants Council.
Thank you ever so much, everybody. Can I ask that have all parties received a copy of today's hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm happy with that. Fantastic. And have you all seen a copy of the procedure that the subcommittee will be following today? And are there any questions or issues that anyone wants to raise at this point?
Received and happy, yes.
Fantastic. And are there any preliminary issues anyone wishes to raise at this stage?
No.
Fantastic. So this hearing is in respect to the aforementioned application for a new licensed premises. I'd like to invite the licensing enforcement officer to outline the report, please. Over to you, please, Andrea.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me okay. I've got a bit of a cold, so if you can't hear me, you'll have to sort of like put your hands up and I'll be looking out for anybody that waves at me. Okay. So this is a new application made by Mr. Mustafa Haji in respect of Eurofoods 58 High Street, Daventry. The application has been advertised. However, we don't appear to have received a copy of the blue notice or the advert for the file. So if I could ask the agent to confirm when the notice was placed at the premises, what it said and what was written in the advert, just to start off.
Yes, the advert was placed on the premises the day after the notice, the day after the application was confirmed by the council. And it was until the date, which was 28 days after that date. And it said, actually, I got the form, the notice from council. So because different councils have got different writings. It says notice is here, Licensing Act 2003 application for premises license, section 17. Notice is hereby given that Mustafa Haji has applied to West Northamptonshire Council Daventry area for the grant of premises license in respect of Eurofood Daventry, 58 High Street, Daventry, NN11 4HU, and intends to carry out the following licensable activities: sale of alcohol for consumption of the premises. The license application may be inspected at the Licensing Authority, West Northamptonshire Council Daventry area, and the address Lodge Road, Daventry, N11 4FP. During normal office hours, any representations by responsible authority or interested party must be made in writing to the above address by 16/02/2022. It is an offence to make a false statement in connection with application, punishable on summary conviction of a fine of any amount. That's it.
Okay, so on that notice, it didn't specify the hours or the days that alcohol was to be sold, just that alcohol was going to be sold.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the surprising thing, because I got, as I said, I have the email. I received this from asking the officer to send me
Okay.
what should I put on the newspaper. Because as I said, different.
And the advert in the paper said the same thing, did it?
Yes.
Okay. So, councillors, are you happy for us to continue on that basis?
Mike?
Yeah, I'm okay with that statement.
Me too, yeah.
And myself as well. So we're happy to proceed with that.
Okay, thank you. So all statutory authorities were served with copies of the application, and during the consultation process we received 2 representations from statutory authorities. The concerns they raised related to 2 of the 4 licensing objectives: the prevention of public nuisance and protection of children from harm. The concerns relate to potential nuisance occurring late in the evenings and the conditions not being robust enough to promote the licensing objectives. More detailed information is attached to my report at Appendix 2, 3, 4 and 5. The application is seeking opening of the premises between 0700 hours and 2300 hours daily, with alcohol sold between 0800 hours and 2300 hours Monday and 0700 hours and 2300 hours Tuesday to Sunday. Alcohol is for consumption off the premises only, which means it will be taken away from the premises and consumed elsewhere. A list of the proposed conditions put forward by the applicant are listed at Appendix 3, and the applicant's agent and the statutory authorities were in negotiations, and the conditions appear to have been agreed by all parties. When granting a premises licence, it does not grant any permission under the Town and Country Planning Act 1990. Therefore, the applicant has to be mindful of all the restrictions on both the licence and planning permission. The applicant could be liable to enforcement action under this legislation if there's any breach of any existing planning permission. Any future planning application would require copies of the application to be sent to those living in close proximity to the premises. Planning permission is dealt with separately and is on its own merits. The conditions proposed by the applicant should address any issues raised. Councillors, you need to consider if the conditions proposed by the applicant and those agreed by them and other parties are substantial enough, or if you need to consider further conditions. Any conditions need to be proportionate, necessary and appropriate to promote the 4 licensing objectives. Only those that are listed on Appendix 3 will be automatically transposed onto the licence. Councillors, you may approve the application, refuse the application, approve the application and issue the licence with amended conditions, or limit the licensable activities if you feel it's appropriate and necessary for the promotion of any of the 4 licensing objectives. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Andrea. So we're now going to hear from presentation from all the parties. All parties will have an opportunity to make their presentations later in the hearing. At the end of each presentation, you will get an opportunity to ask any questions. Please keep questions to what you've just heard. Can I ask objectors first, please, to make their views known? So that's, I believe, you, Tracy.
Thank you. The premises, we're looking at the locality and the other activity that takes place. It can be seen that on the same road there are 3 other eateries which are open until 10 p.m. And I would imagine I would request that the opening times be restricted to 10 p.m. to align with what's already in the location. If they open till 11 o'clock, then of course we have people later at night and more likelihood of disturbance to nearby residential properties above and nearby. Since making this representation, the applicant has agreed to amend the hours of opening to 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. Thank you.
Can I just confirm something with you, Andrea? Is it the opening of the shop is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or is it the sale of alcohol 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.?
Right, according to the application, there's some misalignment. They've asked for the premises to open to the public at 700 hours and close at 2300 hours on a daily basis. And then for the consumption of alcohol on a Monday to be from 0800 hours till 1100 hours, and then on Tuesday to Sunday for it to be 0700 hours to 2300 hours. So there's slight difference for Tuesday to Sunday. They wanted to open earlier.
Thank you very
Can
much.
I
Sorry,
think Ali wants to say
Yes.
something.
if I may, I think there is a mistake between, I think your application, the application you have, because the application I have here, a copy of it is, says 8 o'clock to 22 every single day. So there must be a mistake. I don't know. Because I resent the application a few times, there was so many things they wanted me to change. So maybe there has been a mistake. The sale of alcohol is 8 to 22 every day. I can confirm that.
That was on the application.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Maybe there has been, because I sent the application a few times to amend it. So maybe there has been a mistake on that one, because I've got the original one here in front of me, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Yeah, okay, 8 to whatever you decide, obviously we'll go with that. We have no objection to the time restrictions, because you obviously know the area better than me and better than the applicant. So by all means.
So just for clarity here, I think we just need to ascertain exactly when you're opening and when you're closing and when your alcohol is. I know you've just said it, but just for absolute clarity.
Yeah.
So this is right. So what are you saying?
7 o'clock to 23 opening hours of the supermarket, 8 o'clock to 22 sale of alcohol off the premises.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is that all right with you, Andrea? And is that what the police agreed on the conditions as well?
And Andrea's speaker is off.
So I'm just wanting Andrea just to confirm that that's right.
I mean, that's not what it said on the application form.
I do apologize. I know
And
that.
I
I
can
just
only
realized now.
go by what was written on the application form as to what I was under the impression was going to,
Okay, just
what we're here to
stop by there,
discuss. But
Andrea. James, can I just bring you in here? Obviously, there's a misalignment here. So what would you advise?
Well, all we're here to consider is what the licensable hours are. Whether the premises opened at any other time to sell products that aren't licensable under this regime is irrelevant. It's simply about the hours are used for the sale of alcohol for consumption off the premises. If the applicant agent is saying that the application is for 8 o'clock until 8 a.m. until 2200 7 days a week, then that is what they're asking the members for.
Okay.
As we do, Councillor Kilbride, I think some of the material in the schedule does seem to indicate that that's what the police and the applicant's agent, or the applicant rather, appear to have agreed to.
I
But
can
again,
agree with that, James. That's how I've read the papers, and it is
Yes.
8 a.m. to 2200 hours for alcohol only, and that's what we're judging today.
That's exactly how I read it too.
Yeah, so that's been clarified. Thank you very much indeed. Is there anything else you want to add there, Tracy?
No, I think that the conditions that the police have recommended support prevention of public nuisance as well as the time constraint, and I don't believe that it's out of context with the locality.
Okay, thank you. And are there any questions you want to ask of the licensing enforcement officer at this point?
Me, no, I have no more questions. Thank you.
It's just our procedure, Tracy. And is there any questions you want to ask from the applicant? Did you want to ask any questions to Tracy?
I would just add that the applicant alluded to the authority having better knowledge of the site than he does, and it might be useful for him to be aware of what the site is like at that time of night to enable him to support the conditions better, to the best of his ability.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Councillors, do you want to ask any questions at this point to Tracy?
I'm okay. I think we've clarified the position as far as the actual sale of alcohol. No, I'm okay at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Mike on that one.
Fantastic. So thank you very much indeed, Tracy. I would like now to invite the applicant or his representative, which is you, Ali. Could you make your presentation, please?
I have agreed with all the conditions police has on behalf of the client. Obviously, we've agreed the hours conditions, the condition to be put on the license, premises license, and I'm happy with whatever you decide.
Thank you very much indeed. And are there any questions for myself there, Andrea? No. And are there any questions from the objector, Tracy? Do you want to ask any questions? No. And are there any questions from committee?
I'd just like to ask Mr. Ali that I'd just like to confirm that they are happy with all the conditions that the police and Tracy have suggested on the papers. Just want to confirm that you're happy with those conditions.
Yes, I'm happy, and I've confirmed that on email.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would just like to ask Ali if all the training records will be available for anybody, like an officer, to go in and inspect at any particular time during the week.
They will be, yes.
Andrea?
Just trying to unmute there. Sorry about that. I've just realised there is a question I do have. On Appendix 5, where I've got the side-by-side comparisons of the questions, where I think the conditions are similar, I've put them side by side, so there's not too much confusion. The purpose was so that if you wanted to, you could replace potentially the conditions in the right hand side with the ones that are on the left hand side, so that you haven't got two conditions that mean the same thing that are different on the license. So when you're considering which conditions to potentially put on the license, you might want to consider which are going to better portray. For example, I'll just give you an example. The first one I've come to, GH&I, on, I think I've got it as page 19, but you might not have it as page 19. Appendix 5, it says provision of CCTV in operation 24 hours, and CCTV to be installed to British standard, BS 7958, etc. And then the police have put a condition forward. Number 1, the premises shall install and maintain a CCTV system as per the minimum requirements. And then it goes on to say about lighting conditions, it should be operable, it should be saved for 31 days, etc, etc. So it goes into much more detail. So you might want to replace the condition that the police have put forward with the 3 that are on the left hand side, for example. You might not want to, but it's just that's why I've put them side by side, because I think they're comparable.
Right. Thank you very much indeed for that, Andrea. So we'll go now just to the summing up period, if we can. All parties will have the opportunity to speak, but you don't need to. It's just a brief recap, if you can. Over to you, Andrea, if you could just kick off, please.
But something that I didn't say earlier is that there's never been a premises licence applied for in this location previously. That's not to say that there shouldn't be one in this location. We quite often give licences to new ventures. That's not an issue. You know, it appears that the applicant has followed due process. The application speaks for itself, and you know, subject to the hours being different to what the applicant asked for, you know, and subject to the conditions being altered, I don't see any reason why that this licence, you know, shouldn't be considered here today.
Thank you very much. And have you had enough time to discuss everything today, Andrea?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much, Andrea. Can I just ask yourself, Tracy, for a brief summing up, if you will be so kind?
Yes, I'm confident that with the conditions proposed and the amendment to the opening hours, that the application won't give rise to public nuisance. Thank you.
Thank you. And have you had enough time to say what you wanted today?
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Anne. And over to yourself, Ali. Can I ask you to briefly sum up, please?
The conditions imposed by police, we agree with that, and we have no other request or question. So I agree with any decisions you make today, and hopefully it will be a grant of license.
Thank you very much, Ali. And have you had enough time to speak to the committee today?
Yes, yes, yes.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much. So what we'll do now is we will retire to make our decision, and then we will let all parties know by writing within the next 5 working days. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today, and thank you very much. And that's
Thank you.